Okay, thanks. Thanks so much, Mr. Srinivasan sir, for introducing um, sir with us. So today we have no words how Pramod Kwadas, our admin, is with us. May I now request Professor Pramod Kwadas to carry on the internet session of both the talks of Professor for both the Professor who have presented the talks. Over to Professor Das.
Thank you, Dr. Barana. And really, this is an wonderful session that we have with us, Professor Islam and Professor Mukund. Am I audible, Dr. Mahana?
Yes. Audible.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very carefully, I was listening both the speakers. Topic was same, and both admit that today we are living in the age of science, and both admit that science and value are human possibilities because we don't expect science and value from animals. It is man who is concerned about science and value. But when we speak of man, we can also discuss the primitive age and the primitive man who was nature dependent. So what is value? Anything that is meaningful or significant for life, that is value. So for a primitive man, food was value, shelter was value. If a person has minimum food to survive, that is his value. Anything that supplements our life, that supplements our existence, that is value. It's very common sense. Similarly, science itself is a value. Similarly, religion itself is a value. Technology itself is a value. Literature itself is a value because that is necessary for human life. As food is value, shelter is value, similarly science means systematic knowledge. When you know something systematically, that is science. So that is also a value. But when the question comes whether science and value are compatible or not, whether whether science is value is relevant in the age of science, here this question is there only because of the misuse of science, misuse of religion, misuse of technology, misuse of literature, misuse of whatever we have achieved. Therefore, Professor Islam said, that means, yes, we need matter, we need everything in our life, but we should know, we should have the sense of vairagya, we should have the sense of detachment, we should have the sense of pratyahara, that yes, our mind is engaged in something, mind is involved in something, but that because mind is the only instrument, we don't have the second instrument. Mind is the only instrument through which we can do science, we can do religion, we can do technology. Everything is possible only through this mind. So this mind has a double function. It can be involved and it can withdraw itself from the involvement. So asakti and bhakti, both are possible only through this instrument. So when the modern man defines science and they equate science with materialism, definitely we shall say they are not better than primitive people because they also valued food, shelter are materially necessary for life. So science does not mean that the basic things, that is matter, that is our wealth, that is which has utilitarian value, which has pragmatic value. If that is science, then we are not better than primitive people who had no Upanishadic wisdom, who had no scientific knowledge, who had no sense of religion, but they had a sense of a value because whatever was necessary, they valued that. So we can make a distinction between what is valuable for us and what we value. So what is valuable for us, that may be a materialistic interpretation, but what we value, that is an intellectual, a spiritual, or a very rational approach of value. What we value, whether we value something that is intrinsic, something that is internal, something that is meant for transformation, something that is meant for spiritual evolution, or we value which is which is necessary for our physical existence, which is necessary for our civilization, so-called civilization. So what we value, that depends upon our education, that depends upon our culture, how we are trained. So very nicely, both the speakers have defined what science is. I have heard somewhere that actually there is no fact, there is only interpretation. The way we interpret the fact, that becomes the fact. So it is man who interprets, and that therefore science is relative, therefore knowledge is relative. And very beautifully, Professor Mukund said that unsublatable, or truth is uncontradicted, satyam avadhitam. Truth is that which remains constant among all changes. That is truth. And an electrical engineer is possible without perceiving electron. Similarly, we can't base our knowledge on verification, experiment, physical verification, experiment are necessary, but that is not the base of the total knowledge, total wisdom. For that, we should have a belief system, belief in the infinite, belief in something that is foundational, belief in something the source, which may not be seen, which may not be experimented in the sense of science, in the sense of a laboratory test. We may not, but we cannot avoid that truth. So the point is, value, the question of a value takes place when we ask the question why. Why science? Then that is a question of a value. Why religion? That is a question of a value. If we do we need science at the cost of our peace, at the cost of our transformation? No. If the answer is no, then that means we are value oriented. So why science? Because if something is really scientific, that must give us peace, that must give us harmony, harmonious living. If our science does not promote that, if our science is destructive, if our science is training us in the trend of materialism, then that science is not value oriented. So value is not foreign to science. Value is not foreign to science. Value is not foreign to religion. Science itself is a value. When man had no knowledge about science, science becomes a value. But the problem is, man can use and misuse. When we know how to use, it becomes valuable for us. If we misuse, by applying the same mind, the same technology becomes detrimental for our society. Therefore, there is war. Therefore, there is conflict. Therefore, there is yuddha. There is moral conflict, social conflict, political conflict, competition for materialistic achievement at the cost of a peace of mind. Therefore, we should value what is really preferable, not pleasurable. Prayer and Shreya, we should go with the Shreya. So I shall not take much time. Both the speakers are brilliant. They um, they very beautifully justified their topic. This topic is same. They interpreted in their own ways. We are really enlightened by both the speakers. Tenatektana Bhunjita, that is from Isha Upanishad. I really surprised. I am really surprised that Here you see the person who belongs to another religion, he is speaking about Tenatektana Bhunjita. How strange it is. It is not that he is a professor of philosophy, therefore he knows Isopanishad. It is not that. He believes in that. So when truth is spoken, when truth is addressed, diversities will not be there. That is the strength of truth. Even if science says that everything is relative, this is the greatness of science. True knowledge is the acknowledgement that the knowledge is limited. We have a very small island of knowledge which is surrounded by the vast ocean of ignorance. Socrates is the best example with the wisest person of the world, but he says, I know that I know nothing. The same thing is said by Vedanta. Whatever you know, that is your appearance, that is avidya. And that is a journeying from ignorance to knowledge. The moment you know that truth, that is not a claimant of knowledge. The knower, knowledge, and known, they become one. The moment you claim that you are a scientist, the moment you claim that you are an engineer, the moment you claim that you are a professor, you are not a Vedanta, you are not that one. The moment you realize that truth, you become one. And everything becomes one for you. You see yourself in everything and you see everything in yourself. That is Vedantic wisdom. And it is relevant to all the ages. Therefore, Professor Hamidullah Maharaj said, every age is the age of science. Because every age is the age of systematic knowledge. So, we have science that proves that we are free from our dogmatic slumber. This much. If you claim that you are a real scientist, that means you are free from that dogmatic slumber. If you restrict science to only materialism, to only communalism, to such and such isms, then the same dogmatism prevails. You are not free from that slumber. Similarly, if you claim that you are a Vedantist, then you should enjoy that wisdom. You should become what you know. Knowing is becoming. If I know the truth, I become the truth. This is the contribution of a Vedantic wisdom. If I do not become, if I do not transform after knowing something, then that is not knowledge. Knowledge is liberative by nature. Savidya ja vimukta. Here we do not know only for the sake of knowledge, only for the sake of information. Here we know for transformation. So true education is meant for transformation. So this great message is the message for all the time to come. This is eternal. This is Veda. This is Vedic wisdom. Thank you. Really, I am grateful to both the speakers. I don't agree with Dr. Mukund, who said that, Professor Mukund, that he belongs to another world and we belong to still another world. This goes against the Vedantic wisdom. Vasundhaiva Kutubankam, we all belong to the same world, and I am speaking it friendly. Don't take it otherwise. We shall invite you again and again, and you will come again and again. Thank you, sir. Now it is
You are
open.
very, you are very right, Professor Das, that ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. So whatever is expressed by Professor Mukund, that is his own apprehension and also realization. He studied well, very well, Vedantic thought also. We are really benefited and both are intertwined. It is a new aspect. But I have a little allegation against the organizers because they only allowed me 30 minutes, but they allowed him uh, 62 minutes. Uh, so I have minimized my lecture. But
Sir, just I shall interrupt. In 30 minutes, you spoke you spoke the volume. Shankaracharya detailed the entire Advaita Vedanta only in half of the sentence, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya.
Jiva
So,
Brahma Banapara.
and Professor Mukund explained that truth is beyond space and time.
Yes,
So,
that's
so
that
thank you,
Vedantic thought.
thank you.
It is properly secular attitude, but we are the people inclined in some community only. But this is not.
Yes,
This
sir.
is particularly for entire globe, all people of the globe, as I understood.
Thank you.
Professor Pierre Mukund very nicely depicted his idea from different corners, and this is really we benefited so much.
Thank you,
Uh,
thank you.
I am highly grateful to the organizers for taking this initiative, and really we benefited so that truth can be apprehended from different corners of